Yo, what is up, everybody? Jumping here, and I am back with some more Dragon Age Inquisition. Alright, now at first, I was going to do like a build video for my Reaver, but then I thought about it and I realized, wait a minute. The problem is that I always do the same thing when I make a new file on Dragon Age. I always go to the same places, and I do it in the same order, and because I do it like that, I make myself really OP. So I think the best thing to do is to explain how to make Nightmare Mode really easy and how to become super OP early on in the game. And then after that I can do build videos, because then you guys might understand what I like to do when I start the game. Alright, so the very first thing, if you want to make Nightmare Mode super easy from really early on, all you gotta do is get to Skyhold. Now, if you know what you're doing, you can get to Skyhold in maybe 3 hours. It doesn't take very long. You can take your sweet time if you want and complete the Hinterlands or whatever. And that might take you 5 or 6 or 7 hours. But once you get to Skyhold, that is when you are good to go. Because from that point on, you will be broken. The very first thing, of course, you can do is get your specialization, and you are set when it comes to that. But what you want to do, the very first place you want to go, is the Hissing Oasis. You can unlock this right away. Now, you might be level 9 or 10, low level, and the enemies here will be level 16. So you might be thinking oh shit, how am I supposed to do that? Well, the thing is, you really don't have to fight any of the enemies here. You can kind of skip them all and run past them or sneak past them. So I still recommend coming here, even if you're level 9 or 10. I'm normally level 10. And when you first get here, you will come to this camp. Now, this is what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to go to all the different tombs in this area. There's a total of 6, and there's 5 of them you have to go to, and then the 6th one is the optional one. That's where the dragon is. But you want to find those tombs because you can get Masterwork Tier 3 weapon schematics, and you can get 1 armor schematic. And the weapon schematics is for a greatsword, a dual blade, a bow, and a one-handed axe. So the one-handed axe is good for you if you want to be a sword and shield warrior, or it's good for Blackwall, or it's good for Cassandra. The two-handed greatsword is good for you if you are trying to be a two-handed warrior, or it's good for Iron Bull. The bow, if you're an archer, is good for you. You can give it to Sarah if you want, but I would recommend making her a dual-wielding rogue. That's just my opinion, and I can maybe explain why that's so good in this video. But yes, you can give it to her if you want, but the bow is whatever. And then the final one is the dual blade, which is really, really amazing. It's a great weapon, and you can give that to Cole, you can give that to Sarah if you want, you can give it to yourself if you're playing as a rogue. So this is the very first place you should go to. Now, if you don't have good upgrade materials like Dragon Bones or Tier 3 stuff, don't worry about it. Just use Tier 2 stuff. You can use Obsidian. And then the weapon will be so strong, it's going to be way better than any other weapon that you have. You can pretty much play a lot of the lower level areas, and it will make those areas easy. And then once you get level 16, that is when the game will be officially broken. So I'll explain that. But anyway, the very first tomb is south of this camp. All of these tombs are by some of the camps. So as long as you find all the camps, you should be able to find all the tombs. So, there you go. Now, I don't know, what you get for each tomb. I can't tell you, and you have to, complete a little puzzle, so you have to figure that out or look it up. But I can tell you this. I know that this tomb, which is, literally right next to this camp, this tomb will give you the bow, and I believe this tomb will give you the armor. It's Legion of the Dead armor, and it's dwarf only. If you're playing as a dwarf, it's really good. If you want to give it to Varric, it's good, but you might want to skip it. It's up to you if you want to skip it or not. But you can always get unique rings and necklaces from completing these as well, and those can be really good. So it's something that you might want to consider. Alright, so here's the first tomb. The second tomb would be by this camp. It's the canyon camp, and it's in the canyon. This one can be a bitch because there's poison spiders that can spawn, and if they catch you, they can destroy you if you're low level. So you might want to wait on this one until you're a little bit stronger, but if you can kill the spiders, then you're good. But if you're having a hard time sneaking past them or killing them, you might not be able to get the schematic in this one early on. But you can also get to the merchant here, it's the dog merchant. Now, I made a video about this one perk. It's an Inquisition perk. It's called the Short List. I highly recommend getting that. You don't have to get that early on, but if you can get that, you can buy Superior Battle Master Armor. I think it's the best armor in the game, or one of the best armors in the game. And what I like to do, and this is what I would recommend, is to cross-class it for everyone. For a warrior, obviously, it's fine. But give it to your rogues and give it to your mages. It's amazing. You get a lot of health bonus. You get a high armor rating. I think it's really, really good. The only problem is that it's kind of ugly on some people, like Solus, for example. But that's the only downside to it, is that it's kind of ugly. But it's really good as an armor. So I would highly recommend getting the shortlist perk and then following my video on what to do and buying that armor schematic. Alright, so that would be our next tomb. And I already talked about this one. This is where you get the Legion of the Dead. But it's right by this camp. It's in the mountains. And the final tomb that you can get to is just north of this camp. This one also has poisonous spiders. So you have to watch out for that. And then, like I said, the final tomb is optional, but it's over in this area. And there's a dragon there. But here's the thing. You can sneak past the dragon. You don't get a schematic. At least I don't think you get a schematic for doing this. But you will get like a weapon and a ring and stuff. But yeah, you can actually go there if you want once you do the other ones. And then you can just sneak past the dragon, open it up, get stuff, leave, come back, fight the dragon when you're ready and you're at the right level. Alright, so the very first thing you want to do to make Nightmare Mode super easy is to go to the Hissing Oasis and go to those tombs, get those schematics. Then you can go ahead and use lower level crafting material to make the weapons, and maybe you can buy some of the armor, sturdy armor, whatever you can afford. Make those, and yeah, you can go ahead and make like the different areas easier, like the lower level areas. And I would recommend like completing the Hinterlands, this place. I would also maybe recommend completing Crestwood and Storm Coast. And once you complete these areas, you should be level 16. You could also come here if you want to do this area. But once you get level 16, that is when the game's like over. And you will be officially broken. And the rest of the game will be easy mode. Because once you come here at level 16, and the reason why I keep saying 16 is because when it comes to tier 3 crafting material, if you come here earlier, yes, you can farm for that stuff, but it's going to take forever. Because when you pick up one of the metals, you will only get 1 of the metal. When you're level 16, you can get like 7 of the metal. So it's like way better that way. So anyway, when you first come here, you will arrive at this camp, and you need to make your way over to this camp. Now the enemies here, there's like a whole bunch of red templars right here, but just take them out if you can, and then you get the camp, and then from this point on, you can farm this particular route, and you can get a lot of really good stuff. Now, of course, you can get the crafting materials to make your weapons and your armor really, really strong. But besides that, you can also get a lot of really good Fade Touch items, okay? Because in this area, you can actually farm red templars, and those red templars can drop certain Fade Touch items that are like some of the best. And then on top of that, if you can get lucky, you can get some Fade Touch Silverite, which is another really, really good Fade Touch item. Now, this area is not the best place to farm Silverite. If you want to know the best place, it's like over in this area, because this is where the dragons are, okay? But if you want to access this area, you have to kill all the Templars and complete that quest. Once you do that, you can't farm the Templars anymore. So it's really your choice on what you want to do. Like, do you want to farm the Templars and get, like, good Fade Touch stuff from them? If you feel satisfied with that, you can go ahead and complete the rest of it. Take the Keep, for example. You can buy some, like, really good weapon schematics from the Keep. And you can go ahead and come over to where the dragons are. Now, the best place to farm the Silverite, though, the best place, is where the final dragon is, or at least the highest level dragon. It's the Highland Ravager. Once he's dead, you can actually warp right to where he's at, jump down into his little pit area, and there's like 9 or 10 Silverite down there. And you pick it all up, and you can maybe get some Fade Touch Silverite. It really doesn't take that long farming it there. Where here, it will take a long time because there's only a total of 6, and it's all spread out. But, like I said, if you can get lucky, you can get it. Now, if you want to know, like, why is this so good? It's because what it does. If you look at this armor, it will say, on hit, you gain 5 guard. That is amazing. A lot of people when they play Nightmare, they like to use Blackwall and Cassandra and maybe Vivian because they're all tanky. But if you want to like just kill enemies super fast, I mean just have a high DPS team, in my opinion, the best team for DPS is Sarah, Cole, Solus, and yourself. Now, it could be a little bit different depending on what you're playing as. Like, let's say you're playing as a mage, then you might want a warrior like Cassandra with you, or Blackwall. And if you're playing as a rogue, same deal. But if that was the case, if let's say I was playing as a rogue, I would probably just get rid of Sarah and just play as a rogue myself. And I would probably always use Cole because I think Cole's amazing. If you're playing as a mage, I would probably use Cassandra, and then I wouldn't use Solus. I would just be the mage. So that's what I would say for a high DPS team. But I would always recommend 2 dual-wielding rogues, okay? Either yourself or to have like Sarah be a dual-wielding rogue. Now you might be wondering, why is Sarah so good as a dual-wielding rogue? Well, there's a couple reasons. And now here's another thing about this area. If you're going to farm this area, and you're going to farm the Red Templars. Red Templars can drop this Fate Touch item, and it's in my opinion, there's 2 really godly ones. The Silverite, which will give you the guard, and this other one. And I'll show you what it does. And what it does is that it gives you a 10% chance to use Hidden Blades on hit. Okay? Now, you can give that to everyone. And it's really effective. Now, it's not as strong as, like, the Focus ability. But it's still really good, you know? And you want to farm them here because if the Templars are level 16, they'll drop the tier 3 version of it. And the tier 3 version of it will add 5 hits. There's a tier 1 version of it, which will only have 3 hits. There's a tier 2 with 4 hits. So you want the tier 3 version for your final like weapon versions and stuff. And that's the one with the 5 hits. Now, it's amazing. It is. It's just really good overall. But you can really make it broken if you set it up right. Now, I'll quickly talk about Sarah, and I'll show this right here. But this is one of the reasons why I like her to be a dual-wielding rogue. Spinning Blades. Spinning Blades is amazing with that Fate Touch item. And I believe it's the Plush Velvet. I think that's the name of the Fate Touch item. I can't remember, but I think that's what it is. But when you get like the upgrade for this, you will hit the enemy with Spinning Blades 9 times. And if you have 2 weapons with that effect on it, you have a 20% chance of having that go off. So if you hit them 9 times, you're going to have that go off multiple times in that combo. And it just racks up damage so freaking fast. You kill bosses, and you kill dragons, you kill enemies so fast with Spinning Blades. It's amazing. Now for a mage, and you can do this with any of your mages. It doesn't really matter. But, and I haven't went for this yet because I'm only level 17 with Solus. And I don't actually have a staff yet. I'm going to wait. Basically, once you take the keep, you can buy like a tier 3 staff. And that tier 3 staff is like one of the best staffs in the game that you can make. And you make that staff, and then you can add that effect on there, and then you can use Energy Barrage as a mage. And what you do is you will shoot out 12 projectiles. Once again, it's amazing with Hidden Blades because it's a lot of attacks all at once, and it can go ahead and detonate that effect, which is like crazy good. Now the other reason why Sarah is really good as a dual-wielding rogue is basically because she's a Tempest. Tempest is amazing. I really love it. I like Assassin too, but Tempest is like so much fun. There's a lot of reasons. Now, of course, you have all these potions that are godly, but I think the most important one for a dual-wielding rogue is the Frost one. Not only does it make her like pretty much invincible because she gets 85% damage resistance, but what it also does is that any enemy that you are close to will freeze. Then you can actually detonate your own cryo explosions. You freeze them with this, and then you can go ahead and use something like Twin Fangs or Death Blow or, Flank Attack. You go ahead and use that, and you will detonate a cryo explosion. And anyone else, if you have another warrior or if you have Cole, if they hit any of the frozen people, they will detonate cryo explosions. So this is like a cryo explosion godly power right here. So that is the reason why I really like Sarah as a dual-wielding rogue. Is because if she's an archer, she's not she's not going to be in range to really use this. She needs to be close range for this to be effective. So that's really what it is. That and spinning blades. Alright, so let me go ahead and show you the farming route. And in this farming route, like I said, if you can get lucky, you can go ahead and get some Fade Touch Silverite. There's 6 pieces of it. There's a whole bunch of Dawnstone, which you can use to make your weapons or make armor or whatever. And it's really, really good. You can also get some Fade Touch of that. And I'll quickly show you what that does. I don't really like it all that much, but for a Reaver, it's actually not bad. Because what it does is that it heals 25% of the damage taken over 10 seconds. And because as a Reaver, you will deal damage to yourself, this actually helps a lot because it will heal you a little bit and make it so that it's a lot more controllable. One of the only downsides of this is that I don't think it stacks. Like if you put this on like your weapon and your armor, you think like, oh my god, I get 50% of my health back for 20 seconds or something. No, it doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, at least I don't think it works like that. I could be wrong, but I don't think it does. But it does help a lot. So it's something you can get in this area as well. But the main stuff is the Silverite, and you also want to get the plush velvet, which can come from the Templars. And they also can drop other ones that are really good too, like different ones that will give you focus. And you know, focus can always be godly. If you guys have watched my insane dragon kill video, I pretty much killed a dragon in real time. It took me about like 30 seconds because I was pausing the game and using like the tactical camera and stuff. So it took me like 30 seconds in actual gameplay time. But in real time of the game time, it took only 8 seconds. And I know that because what killed him was Mark of Death. And that only has a duration of 8 seconds. Anyway, but yeah, I would recommend picking all this stuff up. Because even if you're not going to use it, you can actually go ahead and sell it. Like if you get like way too much of it, like let's say you have 500 or 600 Dawnstones, sell them. Just sell them. And then you can use the money that you get to buy whatever you need. If you have the short list, you can buy more armor schematics, unique weapons that are really good. You can just buy influence. I like to buy influence because, you know, it gives me more perks. And a lot of those perks can be really useful. So, yeah, using this farming route at level 16 is amazing. And, of course, like I said, if you want to really get the Silverite, because this can take a long time. If you're like, okay, I want to, like, you know, I want to have three of the Silverite. That way I can put it on my mage and my 2 rogues. That can take you a long time with this route. With the other route, it doesn't take very long at all. But you have to fight that dragon first, and that dragon is high level. Also, you can farm some plants here too. And if you need any of these plants, this is a great place to farm the plants. Because all you gotta do is you just leave and come back. Now here's where the Templars are. And as long as you don't actually, there's another camp right here. If you don't take the camp and you leave and you come back, these Templars will respawn. So keep that in mind. And other ones can also spawn. But let's just go ahead and get some guard. And now we should be good to go to start killing these bastards. But you will see how these guys will just die super freaking fast because of everyone, basically. Everyone will just, they just do a lot of freaking damage. Urgh, bitch. Oh, I missed. It's whatever. Anyway, yeah, so they're dead right here. There's another one that's going to be coming from the top. It's a behemoth, but like I said, he's not a problem. Generally, you might want to jump up there after him. He'll also come down. He did come down, but whatever. Alright, just go ahead and kill him real quick. And he's a goner. These guys will scale to you until level 19. Like, if you're level 20, they will be 19. But they will basically just go all the way up to 19. Anyway, but yeah, so these guys will drop loot. And the loot has the chance to basically be what you're looking for, which would be the Hidden Blades one. And I believe that's plush velvet. I think that's what it is. And then, you know, like I said, there's other ones that are really good, too, that you can potentially get. So I like to come over here second. And then, yeah, we're just going to quickly take this archer out. Gonna run from me, bitch. Alright, so there's a couple more Silverite you can get right here. This is the last 2. So, you know, if you get lucky, you can get the Fade Touch one. But, like I said, it can be a bitch. It really can be. Sometimes you just feel like the game's trolling you. And I might be wondering, like, what's the point, you know? Like, some people would be like, wow, that probably going to take a lot of farming. It could take, like, you know, a couple hours to really get, like, the stuff that I'm looking for. Yes, that's true. It can take you a long time, but if you can do this early, look, I just got some Dawnstone, which is nice. But anyway, if you can do this early and then like enjoy the majority of the game just being really OP, that's a lot of fun. At least it's fun to me. I mean, I don't know. You guys can tell me. But I've always been the type of person that if I can like become super, super OP in a game early on, like Skyrim or this or whatever, I just have a lot more fun. I mean, I don't know. It makes the game a lot easier, yes. And I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, but it's still, the game's freaking easy because I'm so OP. But I just feel like a fucking god, man. And I love that. I think that's too much fucking, too awesome. I mean, look at the amount of damage we're doing. Insane. All those guys are just dead, like, in seconds. Like I said, so be careful right here. This is the area where you don't want to set up the camp. Because if you do, these guys won't spawn anymore. But I think, yeah, we didn't get what we were looking for. But, you know, it's whatever. We'll come back later and we'll try again. You know, basically, once I get enough of the hidden blades and I know I'm satisfied, like, let's say I get a total of 6. I would say 6 is what I'm looking for. I already have 3, I believe. Because I'll give 2 to Cole, 2 to Sarah, 1 to me, and then 1 to my mage. And I'll be good. Basically, that's the way I go about doing it. Now, the rest of the Dawnstone. Yeah, you want to jump up there and get that one, those up there. But the rest are going to be over here. But let's go ahead and grab these. And there's other plants, too, if you want to grab these. It's up to you. If you need them, you can use them for your alchemy. But yeah, that's pretty much the farming route. But yeah, that's what you do. You come here, you farm this multiple times. Look at my guard, for example, on everyone. I'm a warrior, so I can build it up myself. But look at Sarah. You know, the biggest complaint, like I said, is that Sarah, Cole, your mage, they die a lot. So people generally don't like to use them because they just, on Nightmare, they're like, oh, they die too fast. Well, if you set them up right, if you cross-class, like Superior, Battlemaster Armor, you give them Fate Touch Silverite, they never die. And they just do a lot of fucking damage. Trust me on that. You'll kill dragons in seconds. Like I said, I killed a fucking dragon. That was my level. It wasn't like I was like 10 levels above it. I killed a dragon that was my level in 8 fucking seconds. So yeah, you can become really OP. And it makes the game a lot of fun, if that's what you're looking for. It just takes some work and some patience. But if you have the patience and you have the time, definitely farm, become OP, and then enjoy the rest of the game. Anyway, guys, I hope this has helped. If it has, will you please like the video for me? Be sure to subscribe for future content. And I really do hope that everyone has a very nice day. And peace out.